Hey everybody, this is Wilo07 and you're listening to the Gamedex podcast, a show where I sit down and talk about video games, anime, and anything else that I find interested in. So sit back, relax, and grab your controllers, grab your laptops, and let's talk video games as I cue the music, and so that way you guys can, just enjoy the intro a little bit. Okay, we're going to get right into it. As you guys can tell from the little gameplay that I got here, we are going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite games on the PS2, and that is Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. And what a classic game it is. Like, really, PS2 was one of the best, I think it is the best systems that was released at its time. I think it beat the Xbox, hands down. Nothing against Xbox players or anything like that. It's just that I think stats wise, it was sold a lot more, but I'm not going to talk about a lot of PS2 stuff. I mean, I'm kind of getting a little bit weird with this, but because of course every game that I talk about has a lot. I think I play more PlayStation games, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights. So this was released, I believe, in 2002 on the PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and I had the pleasure of playing it on my PlayStation 2. Because I didn't have an Xbox, I had the PS2. But you start off with Scooby Doo and the gang, and you're basically solving a mystery, as they always do. And they basically have to. Daphne has her friend Holly, and her uncle has disappeared, and so Scooby and the gang has to, go around and try to find him. And it turns out that there's all these monsters that are running loose at the professor's mansion and all that stuff, right? And they're all past villains from their previous adventures and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I thought the development was really good, how the way they went with this story. You play as Scooby, and you go around collecting Scooby snacks, defeating monsters, saving his friends because they all got captured, except for Shaggy. Shaggy, he comes around every now and then, and of course he gets captured every now and then. But you let him out, and then he runs amok and he helps Scooby, throughout his little adventure. It's more of a it's got some puzzle solvings. It's got some easy setup, gameplay. I think it is pretty easy. I don't know. I'm 35 right now, and no, he never gets full of Scooby snacks. He never does gets full of Scooby snacks, Susie. Thank you for joining the chat. So basically, this I can't get that out of my head now. But basically, yes, you can collect Scooby snacks. You can collect tokens. Monster tokens are pretty cool. I like collecting them. Throughout the game. I don't know if anybody's a completionist, but I kind of consider myself a completionist sometimes. This game is actually not that long to beat. Actually, It's actually pretty easy. It's not that complicated. There are some difficult. There are some difficult situations where it's like you're just trying to get to the corner of some area, or this boss is like blocking your path, or not boss but like little enemy or whatever, and you're just trying to like, I remember I would whenever I went to go, I think I was on my way to save Velma from the from the Black Knight, and there's this gargoyle that's on this platform that I have to get on so that way I can get Scooby's next power up, you know? And sometimes the enemies don't want to leave the little section, and that you got to get them off certain platforms or areas just so that way Scooby can attack him properly. And like I said, there's power ups. So Scooby gets multiple power ups. He's got the helmets, as you can see right here in this little video. He's got the umbrella, and you know, these are considered Professor. His name is Alexander Graham, and he's supposed to be very smart and intelligent. And then it's just like his inventions are like good, but at the same time, I'm like simple in a way. I mean, like you saw, Scooby has an umbrella. How's that? I'm trying to figure out how is that an invention. I mean, did he invent umbrellas? You know, it's just like, and then everyone in the world has an umbrella now. Like it just makes me wonder. But he also, excuse me, Scooby also has he gets a shovel. Apparently that's I don't know if that was considered an invention, because most of Scooby's items that he gets throughout the game they're considered inventions. So I'm like thinking, okay, an umbrella, that's an invention apparently. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not. Every tool is an invention. I'm just like surprised that this one guy, he apparently created the umbrella. He apparently created the shovel. So it just makes me laugh whenever I play this game, because you know, I'm a huge fan of Scooby-Doo. I grew up watching Scooby-Doo, you know, not when it first came out, of course. I was born in 1988, but growing up with cartoons, they aired all the Scooby-Doo shows on TV. I've loved Scooby-Doo my entire life. It's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite characters. Scooby and the gang, Shaggy Zoinks, you know, Velma Jinxies, Daphne Jeepers, and then Fred's like, I've got a plan. You know what I mean? It's just the Scooby-Doo and the gang, great shows, great movies. And then when they made this game, it just really made me happy. I was like, what? They made a game based off of Scooby-Doo? And I just had to play it. I had to play it. And, you know, a lot of these games are memorabilia for me, man, because like growing up, you know, I had my brother and I had my sister. Of course, I was the oldest of them, and but my brother, I never consider him my little brother because he was only 1 year apart from me. But you know, still at the same time, he is younger than me. And then of course my sister, she's way younger than me. But going back to what I was saying is that we also had cousins and younger cousins. Like, you know, when we're teenagers, they're basically, you know, fifth graders, or not fifth graders. I'm 5 years old, 6 years old. That's what I meant to say. And then I find out that they have video games too as well. So like whenever they come over to my house or I go to my house, they're like, no, they say my name, and then they're like, hey, what game did you get? And you know, what game you got? Or my favorite thing I loved was my cousins, whenever they would ask me, you know, if I can help them beat a level in a video game for them. That was one of my favorite things I love to do. Because I don't, man, I honestly don't remember. I definitely would have to get my brother on this podcast one of these days to ask him, or I'll find out. Is I don't know if there was ever a video game that he had me play for him, or like beat a certain level that I mean, he was just, if I wasn't good, he was good, and if he wasn't good, I was good. I feel like we were both equally good at video games in certain ways. And so like, you know, that's what I loved about when I would play with my cousins, because they would have games that I can help them beat and everything. And every time where they come over, they want to watch me play. Oh, looks like the Bard has entered the Gamedex. Welcome, Bard. I don't know what you said there in the comments, but thank you for joining in. And going back to what I'm saying, I just love playing video games. I loved, um, helping out my cousins. And this was one particularly game that I remember one of my cousins had. I think he either had this on his PS. I think no. He had a PS2, and he basically would ask me, "Hey, can you help me beat this?" Or they would watch me play it or whatever. And I just really liked it. It was really fun, to bond with them and everything like that. And yeah, that's a little sentimental value about the game. I'm not gonna want to, and then I don't want to go and spoil anything about this game. So I mean, I kind of gave a little quick synopsis about the game, but at the same time, I'm not gonna really spoil it too much. But anyways, going back to the game, it has great. I think it has a great story. The music is incredible because for starters, it's just like watching. I feel like it's just like watching the TV shows. I'm there and I'm just like, whoa! It's just like in the TV shows, and you hear the and it's just so much fun. And not to mention, one of my favorite things that I love about this game is that when Scooby would do a certain move or ability or certain thing, you hear this game has background audience. And the background audience, they would actually um laugh at Scooby, because it's funny. And I think that's just phenomenal. Scooby gets one of this abilities where he can disguise himself, and whenever he activates that, the audience laughs. And so that's one of my favorite things that I love about this game. It's really really funny. It's really fun. I don't get frustrated playing this game. Actually, now I actually had to rush through it because I knew what I was going to say about this podcast. I knew what game I was going to talk about. I remember I knew what I wanted to say, but I also wanted to beat this game before I played it, or I just wanted to replay it before doing this podcast. And I'm glad that I did, so I can just get a little refresher. And I'm glad I did. It was really short. It didn't take me that long to beat. The game is really short. You can beat it in 6 to 7 hours, but at the same time, I'm just enjoying the game so much. And those 7 hours to me felt like 70 hours. I was enjoying this game so much, and I'm like collecting everything as much as I can because I had to rush because this podcast was due soon, and so I didn't take my time fully because if I did, it would have taken me a little bit longer if I wanted like to get all the Scooby snacks, all the monster tokens. This game when I was younger. When you're a kid, you don't pay attention to stuff like that sometimes. And it's really really great that they had him voice the character, the mastermind. That's his name. And I love Tim Curry so much. He's and a lot of shows, a lot of movies he's done is voice acting. He's done a lot of course, live action, acting too as well. But the amount of movies and video games and TV shows he's done are all stuff that I grew up playing or watching. And so it's just crazy to believe such a great man that has that much talent. I wish I would have loved to meet him in real life. That would be really really cool to meet him. But he's a really great actor, and I just loved him in this game, and he was great. We also have the great Don Knotts, um, who voiced the groundskeeper in this game, and I love me some Don Knotts. He's a classic actor. It's just uh if anybody doesn't know Don Knotts, y'all need to go look him up. He's a very great actor. I loved him in a lot of movies, but one of my favorite shows that he portrayed in, of course, he's done a lot of roles with like TV shows and stuff like that, but the Andy Griffin Show. He's a deputy, I believe, and he's funny. His character is really funny, and it's a really great show. My dad got me into that show actually, and that's when I was like, oh, that's Don Knotts. And so Don Knotts is in it, and then he's of course been in a lot of other cartoon shows and everything. That's how I got to know who Don Knotts is. Ugh. And so going back to the game again, like I said, I think it's not as let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay I think is really good. Um, it can get kind of rough a little bit sometimes, not entirely. I was enjoying the whole time I played, but remember, even if a game that's super bad but fun, I'll replay it just because I'm what you call the nostalgia gamer. You know, I love to replay games over and over again as much as I can. And so even if this had bad game mechanics, bad, you know, whatever, I still would probably play it again. That's just how I am. Excuse me. And I'm never going to stop playing this game. I'm always going to play it every time. The good thing is it's Halloween month. You know, we're in the month of October now. One of the main reasons why I wanted to do this episode, because Scooby-Doo, you can't, when you think of Halloween, I can think of Scooby-Doo. I can think of Scooby-Doo whenever I get introduced Halloween or whatever. So that's one of the first things that popped in my head. It was Scooby-Doo. I definitely got to do either a walkthrough let's play of Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights, or I do a podcast. And so I thought to do a podcast and just talk about this great game. It's just so much fun. I'm just glad that the game is great, that it's not bad. I mean, there's a few hiccups here and there that you get annoyed when you're trying to get to a certain area or a certain ledge or a cliff, and Scooby's trying to, you know, get to it. But, you know, just like that move right there, like you can't get into that area unless you have a certain ability, but you can kind of weasel Skyrim jump your way up there if you really want to understand it that way. You know, just, you saw how I did it. I kind of did like a double, not just a double jump, but he did the spin, the ground pound attack, super smash, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, this game I feel like it plays well, and plus I can beat this game super quick if I wanted to. I know where everything's at, I know all the secrets, I know where everything's at, and so that never escapes my brain. And the famous words that my family or my parents say to me is that you can remember all the secrets in a video game, but you can't remember your dang homework. And I'm like, yeah, because this doesn't make me feel bad. I'm just kidding. But it's I don't know. I've always been a fan of these games, and I can just remember all the secrets because they're just awesome memories of me playing them, and my brother and I playing them, or my brother watching me playing. That's one of the things that I love. I will always cherish the most is when I was able to play video games, and my brother's like, "Oh, can I watch?" And I'm like, hell yeah, let's play, and you can watch. Sinu Mustache, what is going on? Thank you for joining in on the chat. Yes, it is a great game. Just talking about how much awesome times we've had playing this game, and it's Halloween month, man, and we got to talk about this game. I just had to. It was priority. But this game, I think it's aged well. I know for a fact, whenever I have kids, or if I have kids someday, if the good excuse me, if God can bless me with a kid someday, oh my God, I'm basically gonna try to get them in. Hopefully, if they're in, I mean, I'm not gonna force it, but you know, at the same time, if they want to, you know, if they like Scooby-Doo, that's cool. And then if hey, you like Scooby-Doo, check out this awesome game. And, you know, just, you know, see if they get interested into it. You know, you never know. But at the same time, it's just fun. This, like I said, the story's good. The abilities that he gets are great. The music, the art style is pretty good too. I think it's fair for that type of console generation, PS2, Xbox, GameCube vibe area. I think it's fair to have it like that. It's not that bad. I think it was ahead of its time, if you ask me. And then going for the I'm just trying to think of what else is there, because like I said, this is a very short game, and as much as I want to just talk about this for hours, I mean, it's just short. It's a short game that you can play, and then you can just basically just go on and just be like, oh, let's give this a try. Because I can tell you right now, I bet if this game was free, everyone would buy it. Everyone would get it because it's free, of course. But it's a short game. It's gonna make you feel good if you like Scooby Doo, especially if you're a Scooby Doo fan. You don't have to be a Scooby Doo fan to enjoy it. I think if you're not a Scooby Doo fan, you can still enjoy it. I think you can. I think you would. That's my opinion. Since I love Scooby Doo, I'm basically a huge fan of this game. I never played any of the other Scooby Doo games. I might play them, but I'm just not entirely sure yet. But I hopefully one day I will, or just to give it a hoot and try. But yes, this is a great game. I suggest you play it if you have not. If you got a PS2, and if you know you got a friend who has this game and you want to borrow it, or if you want to go, online to eBay to buy it, just get it. Because I don't think they would remaster this. I don't think they would. They should. It would be cool if they did it and just gave us more content. I don't know about an open world Scooby Doo game. It'd be kind of crazy if they did do something like that. Because I don't know, that would be kind of cool, right? An open world Scooby Doo game. The only problem is a lot of the voice actors of the original Scooby Doo cast, voice cast, are no longer with us anymore, and they're the greatest voice actors of all. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of talented voice actors out there that can do these characters, but nothing beats the originals, and that's just how I see them as. And I definitely would want them to make a future Scooby-Doo game. That's my hope, that they can do something like that. And imagine if you could ride the Mystery Machine. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool if you can. Not sure about an open world. Well, it wouldn't be open world like Sonic Frontiers, but maybe like Grand Theft Auto style. You can drive around in the Mystery Machine to go solve mysteries. In the van. Take jobs. That's the kind of idea that I see. Scooby Doo and the gang are just chilling. Next thing you know, Fred or Velma. I could see Velma getting a notification on her laptop or something like that, and say, "Hey, there's another mystery going on that we got," and then you got to go solve it. That'd be kind of cool. That's just my opinion. But I don't know. That might be yeah, exactly. Just a tad. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just I just feel like just like in the shows, you see can't talk. You see Scooby, you see Shaggy and the gang. They're all either somewhere like at a park or you'd play it, Geek. Okay, cool. Thanks for joining the chat, by the way. Like you've seen the shows. They're usually just chilling somewhere, or there's a party. Next thing you know, boom, there's a mystery that they got to solve. So I can totally see it like them. You're just in the city or wherever, and next thing you know, Velma gets a little notification from her laptop, or they all get notifications from their phones. Because if they do like a modern Scooby-Doo game, it'd be all this new technology and stuff. So of course they all have smartphones or whatever. And I could totally see them ding, 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 get a notification. Oh, someone's gone missing. It's like their versions of Amber Alerts or something like that. You get that random notification that there's this going on or whatever. Or maybe they get, I don't know, like a notification from the police department or something. They just know somebody there and they're like, hey, can you help us out? Hell, even a pup named Scooby-Doo, they have their own little agency, and stuff like that. So what if they start there and then work their way up again or something like that? It's just the ideas are infinity. You can come up with any game nowadays. And so I'm sure there's someone who is, if they're smart, they can come up with a new Scooby-Doo game, and kind of keep it within the same art style too. They don't need a Scooby-Doo artworks and everything. And this is one of my favorite artworks. I like how the way all the characters look. Mystery Incorporated, actually. That one's cool. I love the art style in that. I really, really want to get into Mystery Incorporated, just because I hear it's really, really good. And it's not. It looks. I like how the artwork looks. I don't mind the voice actors. They've done a lot of reboots of Scooby Doo lately, and I've not been very satisfied of it. Wasn't satisfied with that Velma series. It was total buzzkill, but I'm not gonna talk about that today because that's not. We're not talking about that. But going back, like I would definitely like to see this game remastered or rebooted or something different. Because these games are, how I think these are one of the games that like start off the whole gaming series. Like the whole gaming universe. You got to give credit to credit. You got to give credit where credit is due. And Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights, I think it's an underdog kind of video game. Not a whole lot of people have played it that I know of. I've never had a lot of people that come up to me and be like, "Hey, have you ever played this game?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have." I've never had anybody ask me except unless if I knew them. But I mean, I don't think this is like the talk of the game. Not a whole lot of people talk about this game, and that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to talk about this game is because I love Scooby Doo. And it's high time that I talk about Scooby Doo. It's high time that I discussed it, and not to mention, I'm not even talking about the TV shows. I'm talking about the video game. And yet, if I have a podcast and I'm going to talk about the TV shows, oh my god, then I'm going to have a marathon and just watch through all the TV shows. And I'm talking about like the original, you know, Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. That show. I'm definitely. I would also do. There's another one that came after that. I just can't remember. What's the name of the title? But there's a couple other TV shows that they did. I don't mind Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo. A lot of people find Scrappy Doo annoying. I mean, he is, but at the time whenever I was introduced to Scrappy, I was like, okay, he's fine. Da 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 da, puppy power. It could be the voice. People were annoyed by his voice or whatever, but whatever. It is what it is. That's an idea for a video game. What if the next video game they introduce Scrappy Doo? That'd be kind of cool. Scrappy Doo tags along or whatever, and then Scrappy Doo has a certain ability, like he can do certain things. That would be kind of cool. Velma investigates clues. Daphne and Fred set up the traps, because that'd be cool. You have to set up a trap to catch the bad guys. You know what I mean? I'm like, the ideas are just, they're all there. They're all there, and it's just the sky's the limit. And I just really want another Scooby Doo game. And of course, if I don't get it, that's fine. If I don't get the Scooby Doo game, that's fine. Just because I'm saying this is because I don't mind playing Night of 100 Frights as much as I want to. I can play that game over and over and over, like I said. And I would just simply enjoy it. Oh my god. Yeah, Scrappy is better as a villain. Okay, we're not talking about the movie. Okay, the movie was. I mean, I don't. Okay, okay, so we could talk a little bit about this. I still got some time, but no, that movie, as awesome as that movie was, I feel like Scrappy should have not been the villain. That's my opinion. Um, I don't know if that's I don't want to call it lazy writing. I don't want to call that lazy writing, because I'm just like, could they have not just chose the better villain, or just someone random person who had because that's what it was. Scrappy was on the island or whatever, and he manipulated the owner. I haven't seen that movie in forever, so I don't really remember, but I just didn't really care for the fact that Scrappy was the villain. Any character can be fixed. I feel like it can. Sometimes it's hard to fix a character when it's been screwed around so much. But a character can. I always believe that any character can be fixed. Just like people. People can be fixed. People don't give up on people. I mean, it's crazy, but why can't characters be fixed? And that's what I think. So that's just my opinion. I still like that movie. That movie was great. The Scooby Doo live action one. I thought it was funny. I think the actors did a great job. Even though Scooby Doo did kind of look kind of weird for me, but it was still pretty good. Still pretty good. Still pretty good. All right, so we talked about the story a little bit. I didn't want to spoil too much. We talked about the music, the abilities. We talked about the artwork. I don't think there's anything much. I mean, he collects Scooby snacks. You can collect Scooby snacks throughout the game. I mean, it's not a review. I mean, it is a review, really, but at the same time, it's just more of like, just talking about how much I love the game. I mean, I don't want to just give my reviews of the bads and the good and the bads about it. I mean, every game is going to have a good and a bad thing about it, but with Scooby-Doo, I didn't want it to be like that. I just wanted to praise this game because, just like I mentioned in my other episodes, I've had 3 other episodes on the channel right now, and 2 of them I've talked about Pokemon. One I've talked about, I think it was Paper Mario, and then this one I've talked now with Scooby. And every game that I've talked about, I love them. I love those games, and so I don't feel like I need to talk bad about this game, even if it has a little bad things, like I was saying earlier about you're trying to get to a cliff or you're trying to get to a certain area, and Scooby's just like, it's just hard for him or whatever the heck, and so it still doesn't make me change my mind to how great of a game this is, and I love this game so much, and I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait to play it again. But I think I've talked a good amount about everything. I look at Scooby; he's trying to help Fred out of the barrel, and I think it's time for basically to rate this game. 1 out of 10. 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. And I have to say, I give this game a 10 out of 10. For being a short game and not a whole lot of issues with this game and not that much stuff to do, but still a lot of stuff to do, like collecting the I was going to say Poke coins, but collecting the Scooby snacks, collecting the monster tokens, that's one of the greatest things you could do in this game to be a completionist, and they even have a monster gallery in the game that you can go and you can get some Scooby-Doo trivia and stuff like that. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, guys, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. And I think that's all we're going to talk about. I wish I could talk more, but like I said, the game's very short. I didn't expect this to be a very long discussion. I was going to go for an hour, but I think I beat that. I think we've been talking about 30-35 minutes, which is fine. This is fine. Most games are just going to be that either that short or long, doesn't matter. But yeah, I think we've talked a lot. I mean, because like I said, short game, I don't want to keep repeating myself. I know it annoys you guys, but I apologize if there's not enough to talk about this game. But it's always better when you have more. Hopefully, maybe someday I'll probably get someone on that's played this game as well, and I can get them on the channel. We can revisit this game, maybe next year for next year's Halloween or something like that, and we can discuss back to back, if there's something that I missed or whatever. But like I said, I don't want to spoil too much of the game. I just want to give my opinion. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. Yeah, that would be fun. Hopefully, and then we could just go back and forth about the game and everything like that. That would be great. That would be great. But in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and close it out, guys. Like I said, I give it a 10 out of 10. Thank you so much for joining in the chat on the podcast today. This has been Wilo07. Thank you so much. I will catch you guys on the next stream.